Thank you. All right, just while we're waiting for anybody else to come in, just a quick introduction for those of you that haven't met or spoken to me before. My name's Colleen. I've been working at MiClub for quite a few years now, and I've been in the My Membership team pretty much since it started. I mostly work now on testing new developments, but also help out with support and installations where necessary. Joining me is Paula, who is the person in charge of all things My Membership. She'll keep an eye on the chat in case I miss any questions that you've got while I'm going through the demonstration. So if you've got any questions, just throw them in the chat and Paula will either answer them in the chat or she'll let me know that there is a question that needs to be responded to. So I'm sure that a lot of you are getting ready to get your renewals done for a membership year that will be starting very soon. So we have put together this as just a very quick outline. We've only got an hour on the process and some of the different troubleshooting or issues that you might come across while you're running your renewals. Hopefully everybody can hear me okay. So basically, renewals itself, making a smooth renewals run with very few issues relies almost completely on the pre-planning process. I'm not going to go through that today because we have an absolutely marvelous solution available that has videos, step-by-step guide, all of the information you can need to do all of your pre-planning. Which just involves things on checking that memberships are set up the way they should be, that you've updated all of your charges for your new membership year and how to do that. Just a lot of cleaning up the database before you start doing renewals. And I will just show you that. So that's on our support site. It's called Renewals Pre-Planning with videos, and each step has its own video, so you can actually watch it in progress as you go to double check that you understand the instructions. And if you don't want to watch the videos, then further down in the detailed guide are screenshots. So the assumption is before you run your renewals, you have been through all of these steps to make sure that your data is ready for the renewals to be run. Okay, so My Membership comes included with a renewals wizard, and it has been created in such a way that you just renew everybody all at once. There's no need to separate groups or do anything different. You just select all of your groups and renew them all. That's how we recommend you run it, just to make sure nothing gets missed. But there are options available if you want to do them in specific batches, as social memberships, golf memberships, bowls groups, whatever works for your specific setup. And I will briefly show you how that works. Because you can select the group and it will automatically renew all of the memberships that those people have. As I was saying, if you wish to invoice your main membership category separately, but wish to make sure that they're charged for all of the extras, then they can be filtered from the member directory. From there, you can use the bulk action for renewals wizard for anything that will renew everything that those people are in. So I'm just going to shut this down and go quickly through some of those for you. All right, so the renewals wizard is in the side menu under renewals called wizard. And we always start with this screen. So this is when we're renewing everybody all at the same time in every membership category. There are a bunch of dates that you need to consider, and these should be looked at carefully to make sure you get them right. You want to show your renewals between specific dates. If your renewals are on the 1st of July, I would usually set it up for, a few days before that, just in case there's been any random end dates that have been done incorrectly. But it will pick up everything in between those two dates. The invoice date should always be set to the date you are sending the invoices. So if I'm sending them today, I would leave that the same. The accounting date, for those of you that have run renewals before, will know how important this may or may not be, depending on the setup of your database. The accounting date usually would be the day you want any journal entries that my membership is creating for you to account for the income on those invoices. So we don't actually want the income for those invoices to go through to our general ledger until the actual start date of the membership or the accounting year, depending on how you set it up. The due date is what date does it need to be paid for? Again, that's usually a club decision. The final day of this membership year, 5 days before, it's completely up to you. And the defaulted date, which is the date that the membership will become inactive and unfinancial if the invoice is not paid by. Again, that's a club decision. Some clubs give a month's grace, some clubs don't give any, some clubs give 2 weeks. I will leave this at the 15th of July for these purposes. And if you're doing your payment plans in your renewals wizard, then you need to say what date you want that to start. So, if you do your payment plans on the 6th day of each month, then you want them to start on the 6th of the month that your membership year starts. I haven't gone into the promo codes at all, but a promo code is basically if you want to add an early payment bonus or something to your invoices, you can actually add a promo code with a discount or a set amount or something that will automatically calculate that discount if the invoice is paid prior to that date. If you need further information on that, then our team in support will be able to help you get that set up. Your batch description is literally just what you call it. That's for your own reference. Member notes. This is if you want something to show on the member invoice. It has to be short. It's not a space for a novel to be written. It's literally just whatever you don't need to put anything in there. It's literally just if you want something to appear on the member invoice when they view it. Okay, and once you've made sure that screen is correct, you click on the next button, which in the step-by-step tells you that we're now selecting which groups we want to renew. You can open each of these different accordions to see what groups are in there. And like I said, the suggested menu is literally just to click the select all, and that will automatically select everybody in each of these groups. That will mean that if you don't select all and you just select you just select like the country members or the intermediate members, but you then don't include their lockers or anything that they've got. So select all. Once you've made sure that you've selected everything you want, you must confirm what you're doing at each step. And we do like to make sure that you actually look at each of these things. And I will show you some of these things a little bit further in the presentation where I've got some troubleshooting where you can find some of the most common errors that happen during renewals. We then get to our next line, which is charges and discounts. So again, this is showing you all of the charges that you've got set up. And I highly recommend that you open every single one of these and double check. It will tell you if there's an old amount and a new amount. So if you've been through your renewals pre-planning and you have updated some charges, you will see here on the full female, we have the old charge of $1,300, the new charge is $1,500. And you would have done all of that in your renewals pre-planning. And we check each of those just to make sure that they are what we expect them to be. And then we confirm that we've checked them and go on to the next step, which is membership changes. So this is another screen that tells you anybody that you've moved from one group to another, anybody that you've added in. So you've had somebody that wants to join, but not until next year, or somebody that has said, or somebody that, you know, finally applies to a seniors discount or some other discount, and you've applied that membership category to them. What you want to see with something like this is if they're moving from one group to another, the type should always be change. The ones that have add will be people that you are either new members or that you have added a new group to. So you may have given them a locker starting next year or something like that. But if you keep an eye on the ones that say add and you see someone that's obviously already a member, they have an added membership, primary membership group, there's a chance that instead of change group, somebody has added them. So they'll get charged for 2 different memberships. We confirm that we've looked at those and that we're happy with them. We go on to the next, which is group restrictions. If you've done your pre-planning correctly, this screen should be empty. So this is for people that might be in your junior group that have aged out, or in an intermediate group that are too old for it, or something similar. If there is somebody in here, it's either somebody that you have decided is allowed to stay in their restricted group for another year, or you will probably need to go and find that sorted out and start again. And we confirm that and we move on to the next screen. So again, this is our previewing of memberships. Now, this is a very small database that I've set up specifically for this. Of course, most of you will have more than 74 members in your database. But we can see here that we can see all of these members. We can see each of their memberships. So anybody that's in multiple groups or categories, like this person here who's in the full female group and has a ladies' small locker, is on here twice, and it shows the charges for each membership category that she's in. You can go through these and double check them. You can filter by the group and double check that none of those look wrong. You know, there are many ways that you can double check as you go in My Membership when you're running renewals that things look correct. And we do recommend you do it, because spending a little bit of time double checking during this process can save a lot of time fixing things later. So yeah, we do suggest that you spend a little bit of time just going through these and double checking. And I know a lot of clubs have members that have special requirements, or, you know, this guy's been a member for 50 years and we give him a discount, but we haven't got it set up specifically. At this point, if you don't want to invoice or you don't want to renew somebody's membership, instead of exiting out altogether and then going back and redoing it, you can remove them from this batch. At this stage, you can just say, okay, I'm not going to do that one because I know I have to do something special for them. You can hit the little bin icon and they'll disappear out of the batch. Once you're happy with all of that, you can click the confirmed that you've looked through it and go to the next screen. But this is where we preview our invoices. And this is another spot where troubleshooting can come in handy, because you can just check that the invoice amounts look correct. Again, we can filter by the group types and just double check that everybody in that group type has an invoice that looks correct. Usually if it's incorrect, the amount will be significantly different. Okay, so this is just part of the presentation, which is common errors and how to spot them. The first one is the charges not updated correctly, which is, as I said, at step 3 of the wizard, it shows all of the charges for all of the memberships, and you can double check them prior to confirming and moving to the next step. And then again, in the preview memberships, you can show the total to be invoiced. So that's what I was just showing you in the process, that those are ways to avoid these mistakes that are relatively common. And again, memberships added instead of using change group. So in step 4, the membership changes will show you all the group movements. So it's literally just a way for you to double check that what the data that you're putting through is correct. And then again at step 7 in preview invoice, this is just one that I did before, but you can see in this database that member is actually in 2 membership categories. So when I filtered by the full male, his invoice is $1,000 more than I would expect. So it's just a, just different ways to double check things that might go wrong. So we're at the preview invoices stage. We've had a quick look. We've made sure we can see this member here is a full male, but he's in the seniors discount group and gets 10% discount, and that all looks fine. You can remove the filtering and go back and look at all of them. So, you can double check that those invoices look good. We can confirm at that stage. And then go on to the next stage, which is preview payment plans. There are 2 options with payment plans, and I will go through both options. I have this set up on another database that I will go through. If you have any negative charges on your payment plans, so if you have on your invoices, if you have on your invoices any negative lines, which some clubs do, the wizard won't allow you to create the payment plans because it creates payment plans with the amount prior to the negative line being assigned, and you'll get a message right here that says you can't do that. It's not a major drama. I will create these 7 payment plans here during the process to show you the normal process, and then I will go to the other database and show you how to set up your payment plans if you have them set up the other way. So we preview them, we make sure that all of these people are on a payment plan, that it's starting on the correct date, which is the date I've set. Their total invoice is that. We click confirmed, we go to the next screen. I don't have fees set up on this system, so it won't set any up. And then we've come to the final screen. Now, just for your information, you can go through all 7 screens as many times as you like and just exit out, and nothing will be saved. So it's not until you get to this screen that you're looking at here that you're actually saving anything in your database. So you can, start looking at the process to see what you're doing well in advance, and then just go, okay, well, I know I need to go and check this, and there's cancel out, go fix what you need to fix before you run the renewals. The only thing I would say if you're doing that is to doubly sure when you go back, you set up your dates correctly. But when you get to this final screen, which is the submit renewals screen, we have a few options here. It toggles on to say that you have confirmed your groups, your charges, your renewals, your payment plans, your charges, your group restrictions, and your invoices. And then there's an option to create draft invoices, which you can toggle off or on. If you toggle it off, it just creates them all as outstanding. If you leave it on, it will create them as draft, which again is completely up to you. You create them as draft. It means you then have an option, if you need to go in and maybe edit a few before they're finalised. There is also an option to email invoices immediately. I don't recommend you do that. for various reasons. The main one being that it's much nicer to be able to double check that everything's right before you email them out. And also the create payment plans, which you can toggle on or off at this point. For the purposes of this exercise, I will create them as draft just to show you what you need to do once you've created them. But if you've managed to get through the wizard and there's absolutely no issues and you've done all your renewals pre-planning, the creating as draft is not absolutely necessary. Again, it's an individual choice how you roll with that. So once you're happy with that, it also gives you a total value of your invoices and your payment plans down the bottom so that you can double check that it looks about right. And then from there you can submit them. It will make sure you definitely want to submit them. And before you hit this button, in fact, probably before you even start running the renewals wizard, for real, I would recommend that you ask everybody else in the organisation to log out of my membership. Because once it starts running this, if somebody, if you're sitting in the membership office running renewals and somebody waltzes into reception and says, hey, I want to change my membership category while this is running, there's going to be errors and panic will ensue. It will also slow the system down while it's doing this. It won't slow it down much with only 69 invoices and 72 members, but with multiple members, it will take much longer. So once you're sure you want to submit the renewals, you hit the yes button. You will get this little window at the top there that says it's generating membership renewals. It will take much longer than that with your database. What you will notice with that is that it will stop at, I think it will start quite quickly. It will stop at, I think it's 29%, and it will sit there for quite some time. What it's doing at 29% is creating all of the new memberships. So it will sit there until all the new memberships are created, and then it'll move really quickly up to 82, I think it is, and it will sit there for quite some time. And what it's doing at that stage is creating all of the invoices, and it won't go to 100% until they've all been done. So if you've run it and it looks like it's frozen on 29%, it's still running. Just give it time, particularly if you have a lot of members. So that's all finished now. The renewals has been run. The invoices are saved as draft. Once it's complete, you can get to your batch by clicking the little view results icon up here, or at any stage from later, once you've closed that down, you can get back to your renewals batches by going to the side menu and going to renewals history. And you will see there we have batch 15 renewals 2025-26. It has created 69 invoices, 73 memberships, and 7 payment plans. From there, you will click on invoices. Oh, did I not leave draft ticked? Sorry. Usually, if you'd left these as draft, they'd all be showing as orange and the status would be showing as draft. But you can see here, these are now showing outstanding or on payment plan. And all of those invoices have been created. And you can that was not what I meant to do. Let me go back to my batch. You can view the invoices by clicking on the invoice reference. You can see this one actually says this invoice is on a payment plan and no immediate action or payment is required. Or it does not say that, it just has a balance. If you want to double check what it looks like for the member, you can use this action and view the member invoice, and it will take you to a screen showing you what the member sees when they're looking at the invoice. So when you email the invoice out and there's a link and they click on the link, that's what they see. And again, if it's on a payment plan, it tells the member that the invoice is on a payment plan and there's no need for them to take any further action. Okay, and once you're happy, if you have saved them as draft, I'm actually really annoyed that I did that. You can select them all from here, and the option here will be mark as outstanding. So if they're draft invoices, they will show up on this screen and with an orange kind of background, and you can mark them as outstanding. You do need to make sure, if you save them as draft, that you save the invoices and the payment plans as outstanding. Because if the payment plans are still in draft, the invoices won't show that they're on a payment plan. And of course, you can get to your payment plans again through your renewals history and clicking on the payment plans link. And once you're happy that everything is right, you can then email all of those out. Setting up your renewals email template, what your email actually says and how it's set up is also part of your renewals pre-planning. And, you know, we always have our amazing support team on hand to give you a hand with that if you get stuck. But I will just show you. I'm not going to email all of these because they will all go to my email address, but you would select all of them and use the drop down to email membership invoices, and I will just do a few. Email membership invoices, confirm you wish to send. It will ask you which email template you want to use. So in this case, I want to use the renewal invoice and send the email. And again, you'll get this little background task saying it's sending them. It says it's 100% complete. We can go to our communications, email history, and view those emails if we want to double check. So if you want to double check what the email is going to look like, you can just send one to start with to see what it looks like. This has got a broken logo, but that's because I'm using a test site and it just, you know, has whatever data you've put in there, but you can always test it by just checking one and then going to your email history and having a look at it. If we go back to our renewals history and to our invoices, you will be able to filter these by the emails that have been sent, the emails that have been not sent, and then you will also be able to see the ones that have failed. So anybody that doesn't have an email address will automatically fail, and you will see them in here, or the ones that, that haven't been sent for any reason. So you can then go through there, the people with no email address, and you can select the invoices and choose to print them and then post them, which I'm not going to do, but you can do that. So, you know, doing everything through the renewals batch this way makes it much easier to keep track of, you know, who's been emailed, who's got their invoices, what's been renewed and all of that, whereas doing them individually can be a little bit harder to keep track of. All right, does anybody have any questions up to now? Because I will go through the other options with you. I just wanted to see if anybody had anything. Paula, have I missed anything? Good.
No, all good. No questions so far.
Excellent. Okay, so I'll just go back to my slideshow, which I've done completely out of order, but I'm okay. So yeah, we did that. All right, so the renewals history is in a batch. The main reason I put all this in the slideshow is so that you can, you'll get a copy of it so that you can see what's been, you can follow along with what I've been talking about. But it's just the renewals batches, how to get to them, and that you use the batch to email the invoices, and the final steps of emailing the renewals. And how to get to all of that. So you would do that. That's all right. And I will just go through quickly the, if you want to break down your membership groups for specific reasons, and the best way to do it, that you still end up using the wizard this way, which is why it's the way we recommend that you do it. No, it must be this one. So from your members directory, you've decided that you want to email, you want to renew just your intermediate members first for whatever reason. Actually, there's only 2 in there. I won't do that. We'll do full female. Okay, so you filter in your member directory. So we're actually in the members directory at the moment by whichever group you want to renew. And you can see in there that in the full female there are ladies with lockers. So you can then select all of those filters, and from the bulk action drop down you have an option to go to the renewals wizard. You want to run renewals? Yes. It will take you again to the screen where you enter the dates. Again, you want to just make sure you get these all right, set up with your things. You can add your member notes or your description, which would be, whoops. And then when you go to next with groups, they're all selected. So your full female group and any other group that those ladies are in have all been selected. It will only run renewals for those members, but it will run the renewals for each one of those groups. And again, we go through each process to check our charges, we confirm them, we click on next, we check our membership changes, so we can see that Julie and Deborah here have been added to the seniors discount group. We confirm that. We go next, we check that nobody's in a group that they shouldn't be in. We preview those memberships. So it's the same steps. You would just be doing it multiple times if you were separating your groups as you did renewals. You preview your invoices. You create your payment plans. They don't have any. And then you go through that whole submit renewal step again. I'll leave the draft on this time. It will run in the background, and then in your renewals history, you will have, there you go. That's what draft invoices look like. You will have all of your draft invoices sitting in there that you can then double check. And this is just going to be, you will see in your wizard history that it's just the ladies' full members. So you would then have to go back and do the entire process again for all of the other membership, primary membership groups that you wanted to do. Again, it's always recommended that you do them all at once if you can, mainly because you then don't miss anybody or anything. But I know there are clubs that want to do their bowls, in different groups or different batches. So it is possible, but recommended you do it that way to make sure you don't miss any of the little additional add-ons that you might be charging your members. Hopefully that makes sense to everybody. Okay, and the other option that I wanted to show you was creating payment plans. If you don't create your payment plans during the wizard process for whatever reason, either because you've got negative charges or because you want to double check something, then it is actually fairly straightforward to do them later. So this is just a renewals I ran earlier with the same database. We can see there are no payment plans there. We can go to the invoices. And we can add the column in this repository of payment plan. So this will actually just tell me anybody that's in here that has a payment plan on their profile. I'm sure you're all aware that in order for my membership to create a payment plan for a member on renewals, they must have a template set on their profile, which I will show you. In the financial details tab of the member data, they will have a payment plan set up in here. If there is nothing set up in there, my membership won't create a new payment plan for them. So just back to those invoices, we have the column added that has payment plan. Depending on how many different payment plan templates you've got, you can filter by the name of the templates. There's only one in this database. And from there, I can select, because I'm in the invoices, I can select them all, use the drop down that says add to payment plan, select the template that it belongs to and the start date of the payment plans. So they've just all been automatically created just by using those steps. So if you can't do your payment plans during the renewals process or choose not to, it is pretty straightforward to do them separately. Of course, if you have multiple different payment plan templates, you just have to do each one individually.
Olivia from Ashgrove had a question just asking whether the webinar would be recorded, the recording emailed out, and yes, a link will be emailed out to anyone who attended. We also have a library of previous webinars that you will have access to as well. So look out for that email.
The other thing, I guess, realistically, post renewals being sent out, one of the things that causes us the most supports or the most issues. Oh, actually, I did want to show you that process that I just did for the payment plans. There is a solution in our knowledge base for that as well, which you can find by searching payment plans and choosing the one that says creating payment plans from renewals batch. So anything I've shown you today, again, you will get a link to this, but you should be able to find the instructions.
We have another question from Matthew Swain asking whether on-time payment discounts can be part of invoicing.
Yeah, well, I've got time, so we can
do promo codes.
Do a promo code. I'll do it on this one because I've only renewed some of the memberships. All right, so my membership does have an option of a promo code, which is basically just a code that we set up, which we give a charge to. I'm just going to choose a random one because I haven't got anything set up. And we can set it up, you can set it up so it's only applicable to certain membership categories, like not to you juniors who only pay $300 or, you know, whatever. So you can set it up so it's only available to some of them. And you can set it up that it's either a percentage or a set amount. Oh, not that much. And what date it starts, which would be the date that you're sending renewals, and its expiry date, which is, you know, we want you to pay it by the 15th of the 6th. So that's, and that's a choice up to you, obviously. So when we run our renewals wizard, we select that promo code at that stage, which will add the promo code to any appropriate invoices. Some of these memberships haven't been updated properly, so we'll see some problems on the way through. So this could be entertaining. All right. So we're just going to select all of the groups for renewal. Can you have multiple promo codes? Sorry, I saw that question, Paula. Depends, Tracy, do you mean different promo codes for different membership categories? Because yes, you can do that. So, you know, or you just need to be careful setting up multiple promo codes that, you know, one member doesn't get 5 different promo codes and end up paying nothing, I guess, is the short answer to that one. Does that add? Yeah. So is that just a full discount for staff, or is that promo codes are more about early payment or a specific set of rules that you want followed? Discounts for staff are set separately. So that would be a staff discount group that would be set up.
Promo codes can be also attached to existing invoices as well throughout. Like, so if you don't do it at the renewals wizard stage on that first screen, you've got the option later, maybe from the batch history of what you've renewed, to select certain members or certain groups and apply a specific code to those invoices.
I think you can also send out the code to specific people and they can add it to when they do their own payment, if they're doing online payments as well. I'll just run through this. So this still has some group restrictions because I have people that are, they're going to be allowed to be in the wrong group for another year. I think this. So here's that member that's been added into 2 groups. His invoice that should be for 1,600 is for 2,675. So this is all part of the troubleshooting process. You would notice that and resolve it. Not going to do that or that. Okay, so yes. All right, so with this member's invoice, when he views it, you will see it now says on here there is a promotion applied and his amount payable. If he's paid in full prior to the date that we set on the promo code, will be this much. And I haven't got on, oh yeah, I do. And if you have online payments set up, when he goes in here to pay, it will say that the invoice is $1,600. The payment amount is $1,575. They can it's not my real credit card number, so don't save it. Ringo Starr there can pay his invoice, and you will see that he's paid $1,575, and there has been a, when we go back to look at him, his profile, there's been a credit note of $25 raised against the charge we put on that promo code. Is that what you were looking for, Matthew? Excellent. Well, if you need help setting that up before you run your renewals, you can always contact our support team or drop us an email, and we'll make sure we get that set up the way you need it done. Tracy, if you need help setting up your employment discounts, again, we're always more than happy to help with that sort of stuff.
We have
and
Matthew is just asking whether a description of the promo code can be part of the invoice. And you could possibly use member notes to do that with an explanation of what they have to do or what it entails, just a brief description, or the actual name of the promo code itself, like Colleen used, early payment, and it has that description at the totals on the invoice saying that if it's paid by a certain date, you would get the discount applied. Have you got anything to add to that, Colleen?
No, not at all. I was just going to show how we can add the promo code to the invoices that are still draft. So let's mark them as outstanding. So this process of having them in draft and then making them outstanding again is very quick when there's only 60 invoices, but doing it on your live data will take more time than that. You just need to be patient waiting for these because it is actually doing a lot of work in the background on your database. I'm just trying to, Paula, where would you be adding the promo code to an invoice?
Sorry, you can edit the invoice and apply a promo code, but from the invoice or from the invoice repository, you can select, say, 4 invoices, and from bulk actions, apply promo code.
Right, that was what I was like. Okay, so yes, if you wanted to edit the invoice, you can either add a specific discount to it if you wanted to add a 10% discount, or you can add the early, and again, it just says promotion applied amount payable in full prior to the date. I don't think that promotion applied is a translation that we can change at the moment. I think that's what Matthew was asking about, the description.
Yes, I think so as well. In the member note area, just to the left of there, you could put a short description that would appear.
Yeah, but but you would only be doing that if you did that during the renewals process. It would show up on everybody's invoice, which you don't want if it's only applicable to certain categories. So I'll look into that for you, Matthew, and let you know. Can the invoices be set up to show house and bar credits which are included in the membership fee? Okay, so you mean like if you pay this $1,300, you get a $200 credit? Is that what you're asking, Sarah? No. Well, only you could put it in the charge description, which would be in your charges. So you could have it in your charge name, which is full membership. Typing includes $300 house credit. Is that which would show on the invoice? That's, I think, the only way we could have it on the invoice to show the bar credits, unless they're paying a specific levy, which would be a bar credit charge that would then raise a credit when it was paid.
So full accounting, maybe show in GL integration journals.
Well, there won't be much because there's nothing that's set on a cash basis. I probably need to spend a bit more time talking to Matthew about what he's asking. Basically, my membership, I'm not sure which club you're from, Matthew, or whether you use general ledger integration, but we can set the GL integration. I'm happy to talk to you about this, exactly what you're asking separately, if that's easier, because I feel like that's a really big question that is going to take longer than the 7 minutes we've got left to answer. And as every club sets up their general ledger differently, it might be a bit confusing if I try and get into too much detail in the back end. Okay, no problem. I'll give you a call, when we're done, just to make sure that we get what you need from the process. Has anybody else got anything they wanted to ask, or any more details that they needed, or anything they wanted me to go over again? Paula, can you think of anything I've missed or that I could?
No, you've done a great job.
Somebody's asked some questions.
Another question
in QA. Sorry.
Separate. There we go. I'll skip over. Okay. Yeah. Does the promo code automatically apply if a payment is within the set date range, or do they need to be given the code or actioned on our end? It can automatically apply to the invoice, and it automatically expires based on the date that you've entered when you're setting it up. You can send out a code for a member to enter themselves, but that will only apply if it's, again, within those dates. But the invoice itself, if it has been set up to accept a promo code, will automatically apply that code, and it can be removed as well. Okay, can a promo code be for full payment within a set date, excluding payment plan?
That is pretty much the only way they work. Payment plans don't get promo codes because a promo code is literally only for full payment prior to a certain date. So that's covered. And then there's one from Edith.
Yeah, can invoices or payment plans be printed in detail? Yeah, so if you want to demo that from the history.
So you can email out their payment plans, and they can view their payment plan that has the installments. But you can also send out their invoice, which is, I'm not quite sure what detail you're asking about there, Edith, because their invoice that shows there, and if they print their invoice, hopefully that will print, then it shows that information. What detail were you after? Paula, there's no way of, that's sort of as detailed as they get, or I'm not sure.
So if you're after the actual payment plan information, so any invoice that has been put on a payment plan, you can email that plan separately to the invoice. So the invoice can be emailed, and the payment plan breakdown can be emailed as well. So the member will get an invoice saying that with the information on it, saying that it's on a payment plan, and they'll also receive this is your payment plan. Hopefully that's the detail that you were after. Members can also view all of that online as well. And there's some more in the chat now. Okay, thank you. That's it. Yep.
All right. Well, that's pretty much our hour done. Like I said, if anybody's got any further questions, you can email support at MiClub, and myself or one of the support crew will pick it up, or just give us a call and we will talk you through whatever you've got. I will call Matthew from Gerringong to go through what he needs. And Edith, if you need anything else, just give us a call and we'll see what we can do for you. In the meantime, thank you all for attending. It's appreciated. I hope you all got something out of it. And yeah, let us know if you need help with your pre-planning, let us know, and we'll see what we can do. Thank you all so much.
Thanks, Colleen.